The Shadow City. Chapter 1. The legends of the Shadow City. Deep in the impenetrable forests of a remote mountainous region lies the Shadow City. Surrounded by dense mists and avoided by wild animals, this city evokes dark legends about its abandoned streets and the mysteries that surround it. The oldest tales of the Shadow City date back centuries. Once a thriving community that settled at the foot of a majestic mountain, it was suddenly plagued by an inexplicable darkness. Its inhabitants vanished overnight, leaving no trace, and since then, the city is said to be haunted by a sinister presence. Those who dared to tread its abandoned streets never returned or were seen again. Their stories became cautionary whispers in the surrounding villages, a promise for adventurers and scholars seeking fame or truth. Chapter 2. The arrival of the researcher in a small and on the edge of the woods, Dr. Adrian Hartman, a respected historian and archaeologist, prepares for his expedition to the Shadow City. For years, he has heard the mysterious legends that have piqued his curiosity. Hartman, a middle-aged man with a calm yet determined demeanor, has led numerous expeditions to distant lands and relies on his scientific methods to uncover the secrets of the past. With a brief farewell letter to his colleagues and family, Dr. Hartman sets out on a journey into the wild forests, guided by vague clues and ancient maps he has collected over the years. The journey through the dense woods is arduous, and the trails barely visible, but his resolve remains unshaken. Chapter 3. The discovery of the Shadow City. After days of searching and overcoming obstacles that nearly forced him to turn back, Dr. Hartman finally reaches the boundaries of the Shadow City. A disquieting feeling of oppression overwhelms him as he steps into the first crumbling buildings and abandoned streets, shrouded in an aura of decay and oblivion. Twilight falls as he navigates the narrow alleys of the city, exploring every corner in search of clues and evidence of the existence of the dark force spoken of in the legends. Weathered statues and broken windows reflect the history of a once flourishing civilization now trapped in endless twilight. In a half-destroyed, ancient library, Dr. Hartman discovers faded journals and records of the former inhabitants. The entries describe strange phenomena during the nighttime hours, whispering shadows, and inexplicable sounds echoing through the empty streets. Chapter 4. The awakening of darkness. In the following nights, the air in the Shadow City becomes denser and more ominous. Dr. Hartman senses a growing presence around him, as if the shadows themselves are breathing. He begins to see inexplicable things, fleeting figures disappearing into the shadows of the ruins, and a fear that overwhelms his senses. He delves deeper into the mysteries of the city, driven by his scientific ambition and the burning desire to uncover the truth. But the more he reveals, the more he feels the dark presence lurking in the shadows, drawing him in and clouding his thoughts. On a night of pitch-black darkness, with the moon hidden behind clouds, Dr. Hartman finds himself surrounded by shadows. Whispering voices penetrate his consciousness, luring him deeper into the labyrinthine alleys, as he struggles to maintain his mental balance and the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Chapter 5. The decision. Determined to avoid the fate of the ancient inhabitants, Dr. Hartman uses his last reserves of strength to escape the city. Every step through the abandoned streets tests his willpower and courage, as the shadows attempt to seize his mind. Finally, with his final reserves of energy, he reaches the boundaries of the Shadow City. The sky begins to lighten as the first rays of dawn break over the horizon. Dr. Hartman breathes deeply, relieved to have escaped the danger, yet marked by experiences he will never forget. As he turns away toward the safety of the forest, Dr. Hartman knows that the Shadow City will forever remain in his memory, as a warning of the dark powers that lurk in the forgotten corners of the world. Epilogue. The legacy of the Shadow City. The researcher returns to civilization with a collection of records and tales that he shares with the world. However, the story of the Shadow City remains an enigma that only those with the courage to challenge the boundaries of darkness can understand. The legends persist in the stories of those who know the name of the Shadow City and in the eyes of those who believe in the power of inexplicable forces lurking in the shadows of the past.